All right, let's dive into one of the biggest matchups in finance, stocks versus bonds. Understanding this classic tug of war isn't just for Wall Street pros. It's absolutely essential for anyone who wants to build a solid investment strategy that can actually survive the real world.
And really, it all comes down to this single question, doesn't it? Every single one of us feels this constant push and pull, that desire for big, exciting returns, fighting against that gut-wrenching fear of losing it all. The answer, the real key, is finding the right balance. So let's break down the two key players in this very personal balancing act.
First up, let's talk about the superstars, the growth engine of any portfolio. Stocks. This is what most people are talking about when they say the market.
So what even is a stock? Well, it's actually way simpler than it sounds. When you buy a stock, you're not just buying some random letters on a screen. No, you are buying a tiny, tiny slice of an actual real-life company. Your wins and losses are tied directly to how well that business does.
And this is why everyone gets so excited about stocks, right? The potential upside is huge. Historically, we're talking about your best shot at serious long-term growth. They're also your best defense against inflation quietly eating away at your money. Basically, if your goals are way out in the future, stocks have traditionally been the way to go.
But, and this is a big but, with that high potential comes high drama. Stock prices can go on an absolute roller coaster ride, and during a market crash, they can fall and fall hard. This is the tough part. Owning stocks requires some serious emotional steel, because there are absolutely no guarantees here.
Okay, so now let's meet the other character in our story, bonds. And if stocks are your portfolio's flashy offense, you can think of bonds as your steady, reliable defense.
So a bond is basically just an IOU. It's a loan. Instead of being an owner, you're now a lender. You give your money to a government or a big company, and in return, they promise two things: to pay you regular interest along the way, and then to give you your original money back when the loan is due.
The number one reason people own bonds is stability. That is the name of the game. They're known for providing a predictable stream of income, almost like clockwork, and they are way, way less volatile than stocks, which makes them a fantastic tool for protecting the money you've already worked so hard to build.
Of course, there's no free lunch in investing. That safety comes at a price. The trade-off is that bonds typically offer much lower returns than stocks over the long run. They can get eaten away by inflation, and their value can go down when interest rates go up. So yeah, they are lower risk, but they are definitely not no risk.
So we have the growth engine and the steady defender. And on their own, they each have some pretty clear strengths and weaknesses, but the real magic happens when you get them to work together as a team.
I mean, this table just lays it out perfectly. With stocks, you're an owner, chasing high returns but dealing with high volatility. With bonds, you're a lender, getting lower returns but with way more stability and regular income. They are fundamentally different, and that's exactly why they're such a perfect match.
And here's where that partnership really shines. When your stocks are inevitably freaking out and dropping like a rock, your bonds are usually the calm in the storm. They smooth out that bumpy ride, which gives you the emotional stability to not panic and sell everything at the absolute worst time. Plus, it gives you a war chest to rebalance. You can sell some stable bonds to buy up those stocks while they're on sale. Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in practice? Let's check out a few really simple portfolio examples.
First up, we've got an aggressive portfolio. 90% stocks, just 10% bonds. The goal here is pretty obvious. You are going for maximum long-term growth. This is usually for someone who's younger or just has a really high tolerance for risk and can stomach those big swings.
Next, we've got the classic balanced portfolio. You've probably heard of this one, the famous 60-40 split. This is that perfect middle ground. You're still aiming for some solid growth with that big chunk of stocks, but you've got a really nice 40% bond cushion to soften the blows.
And finally, a conservative portfolio, where we just flip the script. Now we're at 60% bonds. The main goal isn't shooting for the moon anymore. The priority here is all about protecting what you've already built and generating a nice, steady income stream.
And this really shows the journey for a lot of investors. It's so common to start out aggressive, heavy on stocks when you're young and have decades to ride out the market's ups and downs. But then, as you get closer to retirement, when you'll actually need that money, you gradually shift more towards bonds to lock in your gains and create more stability.
All right, let's bring it all home with what might be the single most important takeaway in this whole thing. This goes way beyond the charts and numbers and really gets to the heart of what it means to be a successful investor.
If you remember one thing from this explainer, please let it be this. It is so easy to call bonds boring, especially when stocks are soaring.
But that completely misses the point. Bonds aren't supposed to be exciting. They are your portfolio's shock absorbers. They're the things that keep your car from rattling apart when the road gets really bumpy. And this quote, wow, this says it all. The biggest danger for most of us isn't a bad year in the market. It's our own reaction to a bad year. The number one thing that sinks investors is panicking and selling at the bottom. And those boring shock absorbers, they're the tool that helps you stay calm and stay in the game.
So let's just put a final bow on it. It's really this simple. Stocks are the engine designed to grow your wealth. Bonds are the anchor designed to stabilize it. And together, they create a portfolio that you can actually stick with, through thick and thin. That's the secret.
And that leaves us with the final and most important question, the one that only you can answer. It's never really about stocks versus bonds, as if one has to beat the other. The real question is, what's the right combination, the right balance, for your goals, your timeline, and your future?